So we are going to talk about the possibilities that have been created as a result of the modernity in technology, especially the information technology. So we just heard the presentation by Asif P, who was telling us that so many tools, so many technologies, so many possibilities that can exist as a result of what the new version of IT has to give us. I'll also try to link this conversation with the business model of a retailer. So if you look at the business model of a retailer, then you have to worry about your front end, your back end, your internal operations, and I mean there is one way of looking at it, which is that what is that technology can offer me? So technology can offer you a lot. So technology is a bar of so much technology which has so many implications. It can help you do many things. But you also need to understand, and I'm now trying to switch gears, that what is that your business actually requires. So be careful in what you're doing. So look at the most successful, I mean, many of you aspire Zara. So any guess when did Zara enter into online? 2010. And when did Gap enter into online retailing? 1997. 13 years later, Zara entered into online retailing. When did Zara move to and left DOS? DOS was the operating system with Zara, and Zara kept on working on DOS till 2007. And all of you know that when did Windows come? So Windows came much before. So Zara's version was that we need to see that where is the competitive advantage of our business. So our competitive advantage of the business is in speed, in growth, and as a result, many such players who have delayed the technology and the application of technology have made choices like this. So then there's a dilemma. The dilemma is that technology can offer us a lot, and we as a retailing business, we need to see that what is that our business really require, and where is our competitive advantage. So one thought is old, stable, reliable, well understood technology. The other thought is there's so much that technology can offer us. Now the question that I'll probably throw on Kashif Khwaja is that Kashif Khwaja, if the technology has to offer us so much, and we also have to see that what is our business model, and actually where does the competitive advantage reside in our business model. How do we make sense of what technology should be doing to our business, and how do we identify that what is the need of technology in my business, and so what is that you can say on that?
So I think if we look at the businesses and the type of businesses, I think few are very, the type of businesses which require automation and digitization, telco, banking, these cannot operate without digitization and automation in this time and age. I think retail is very close as well. So I think the role of the business is integral in not just running the business or being efficient, it is just being operational, right? So it's that fundamentally important. I think the core issue, I mean, I just wanted to highlight one of the fundamental issues that we face today in the retail industry, which is it has not yet evolved to being an industry as such. The ecosystem is not developed, the talent is not there, and this is true across all segments, from merchandising to sales management to technology side. That is the core in this segment, and digitization as well. Because most of the talent which is developed is primarily developed on FMCG platform, because that has fundamentally been offering jobs to most of the graduates and and professionals. The retail industry evolution in Pakistan is only, I think, 20 odd years before, and it is still largely mom and pop stores. which are not organized, and that is why we feel there is a massive shortage of talent, which then translates into the evolution of the industry. So the first and the core element in my view is the talent, which transcends across all areas. Secondly, I think it's the mindset. We have not yet realized in the industry how technology can help us in accelerating our business. So that mindset, if that comes through, then I think the changes do follow. It's a mindset, and it is not still considered as a viable investment which can actually grow business. Once that comes in, then I guess the rest follows. Rest is all, I think, the technical details with respect to having the right and the number of suppliers which are competitive amongst themselves when it comes to technology partners. If you look around, the ecosystem in technology partners side is pretty thin. And I do sympathize with Hashim and, of course, all these guys who are offering these services to this industry, because they are facing exactly the same issue of not having enough talent. They train people, they come and join them, and then a year later they have an entirely new team. So it is an extremely difficult situation for them as well. But to me, I think the core is, if we want to take this industry forward, if we want to have digitization actually play a true role in accelerating these businesses, we have to somehow sort out this talent issue. And for that, I know there are a few people here from academia. Retail industry, I know it is now gathering momentum. So, it will be my sincere and serious request if we can actually tailor and develop programs so that we can actually have the talent which is geared to deliver to the growth of the retail segment. I'm not aware if there is, please correct me. Even LUMS today does not have a retail specialized MBA program. The current MBA program is focused on FMCG. I am not aware if any other schools have that. The merchandising management is also something which most of the guys, there is a broad supply chain program which does not even cover the basic 20% of what is required in the retail segment. So that, I think the skill set is the core issue which somehow the companies have to struggle with when we, and we have to actually train people on those dimensions. Third, I think key thing is your international players. There are very few international players in the retail landscape. Retail players, if they come into this market, they will bring a lot of best practices. The talent development will also follow, and they will support us in that way. Somehow, our tax culture, our documentation of the economy somehow scares them away. Those international players do not come into this market. I hope they do come at some point in time, because they can create an overall market which can be a lot better than it is. So to me, those are the fundamental challenges. Digitization is the key. We have experienced that our organization, we have gone through a substantial transformation in the last 3 years. I think at the core of it was the insight, which is not possible without having a robust technology solution. We have got a technology partner sitting right next to us, and they have, of course, supported us along that journey, and that has played a pivotal role. So
thank you, Khwaja Sahab. So, I mean, I can make sense of what you're saying, that digitalization everywhere is creating advantages for many retailers. And with the plethora of possibilities with Industry 4.0 and Retailing 4.0, there are many possibilities. So I will say that on your comment on skill, manpower, I think in the era of digitalization and with so many possibilities that Asif Peer was talking about, you need curious minds. You don't need minds who are seeking answers. You need minds who are asking the right questions in your business model. And how can technology be leveraged in your business model? So with that, I'll go to Hasan Bukhari. And Hasan, this is the sense that we have gained from Kashif Khwaja. So what areas in the retailing business you think are most ready for digitalization, where you have the right mind, you have the right mindsets, and you have the skill set? So your thoughts on this?
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Saab, and honestly, it's a great question. And many retailers ask us same while adopting the technology. I am very glad that in today's session we have our Pakistani industry retail think tanks who can think of that how they can compete with the international retail market. I think if we speak with respect to the retail local market, we are doing good. But in order to compete, I think with the international retail market, brands, especially like Zara, Marks& Spencer, we as a nation really need to adopt digital transformation trends which are now in the international market. In my opinion, key areas that are needed in the retail industry are the customer loyalty, number one. Number two, demand planning, merchandise planning, replenishment planning, omni-channel, and back office operations like financials and budgeting. Among these key areas, I think the utmost important area is the customer loyalty, because as a retailer, if you don't earn the customer loyalty, you cannot empower your representative. And when I speak about the representative, I mean a representative who is selling at the point of sale level, any guy who is doing the supply chain planning, and any person who is doing the financial planning. And you cannot empower your representative until unless you don't have an agile technology. And without agile technology, I think you cannot give intelligence anywhere in your organization like Kashif was talking about. So I think these areas are the need of the hour. And in our local retail industry, and we emphasize as a trusted technology advisor to our retailers and customers that you need to adopt these practices. However, Dr. Saab, if there are few areas where retailers face challenges in terms of the technology adoption. Number one, I think in that area is the checking out the digital transformation plan, which is aligned with the retailer strategy, vision, and goal. And this is the area where they need the trusted advisor partner advice to make a concrete plan which can run in maybe next 15 to 20 years. And second thing is the many retailers face challenges in adopting the technology because they are unable to differentiate between a software and technology platform. And this is also an area which we as Maison are also working with many retailers in Pakistan. Some are sitting in this conference room, that you need to invest rightly on a technology platform that can go in a longer run with your company. And another challenge is the, I think, consumption of the new technology because of the lack of expertise in Pakistan, and also the change management that happens after the technology implementation. So for which I think we as a technology provider and retail industry need to work on capacity planning via some trainer approaches which we can bring on from international market, so that we can cope up these challenges. And in last but not least, the most important thing is the absence of international payment gateways in Pakistan. Like I will talk about the PayPal, I will talk about the Stripe, and I will also talk about the shipping carrier like Shippo. And in Pakistan, many startup companies which has been recently founded, they are doing great work in B2C commerce, but unfortunately, due to the absence of these payment gateways and shipping carriers, they are unable to expand internationally. So I think we, as a technology advisor, we should work on it. And last but not least, the omni-channel is very, very important.
Okay, so Hasan, you have talked about some of the areas where we have more strengths and some of the areas where we have challenges in digitalization. But you know, in these strengths and these challenges, you will see that some organizations make more success than other organizations. In even, you know, the ecosystem is same, those challenges are same, but some organizations are more successful than others. So I know that you have been working in a consulting company. You might have come across some organizations which have made more success than others. So if you identify some of the key attributes of those companies who are more successful, what do you think are the key attributes?
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Basic key attributes are the, first of all the people will need to agree on the touch points, because when we talk about the omni-channel, in omni-channel all touch points important, because as Asif mentioned in the presentation that now the customer shopping experience has drastically changed. So now they want to purchase anything from anywhere. They want to ship anything at anywhere, because speed matters. So I think as an tech provider and as a retailer, we should think on a strategy that speed matters, and eventually it will help the retail industry in growing. So key aspect again is the financial planning, cash flow management, and also when we talk about the work in process, so as a retailer you should see that my work in process should not be at the factory. All the articles should be at the shop in minimum time, so that it can contribute towards the revenue generation.
Thank you, Hasan. So Monis, I'll come to you. You have experience in fintech, and you have, I think you have disrupted many existing ways of managing finance and supply chain. So leveraging what you know, what kind of possibilities fintech has created in a retailer's supply chain? I mean, I will say that you divide your comments in 3 areas. One is the front end, the brick and mortar front end retailing, and also include the online model in that. Also the internal operations, the warehousing and internal functioning, and the buying part, the supply component. So if you look at these 3 areas, how fintech has created ways of making your supply chain more competitive than before?
Great. First of all, thank you for the opportunity to speak about this. This is, we've all seen what's happened during the last few years. We've seen the results after COVID. This economy is increasingly moving online. You have a $250 billion economy that is moving online. There's no doubt about it. It's happening at a faster and faster pace. And this is fueled on the back of smartphones, where now 80% of adults in your country have smartphones, ID cards are verifiable, and lots of financial inclusion is happening on the back of smartphones through mobile wallets. 70% of the bank accounts that you now have in Pakistan are coming from bank accounts opened on smartphones, mainly through JazzCash and EasyPaisa. So there's clearly a transformation that's going on, and at the same time, expectations of your customers are to buy online. They want to see your presence on their phone. They want to see your presence on their app. They want to be able to chat with you. And every retailer is now struggling to keep up with consumer expectations and the evolution of this ecosystem, because enormous amounts of opportunities have now been created as a result of this new interconnected super ecosystem, where now you have finance that is interconnected with retail and warehousing and inventory, your logistics. So I think what's first of all very key to understand that I want to highlight is that when you talk about software, you should not be thinking about standalone software in a closet that's run by your accountant. Those days are over. Today, it's all about interconnected ecosystems and how easily, quickly, cheaply, efficiently you can interconnect your platforms with other platforms that are available. New and new services are being introduced every day. We had an earlier question is, how do you decide which services you need to automate your operations? You can't answer that question right now, because so many new innovative services are coming up every single day by new startups and organizations which are helping improve your efficiency. But the problem is that they all require interconnected data, interconnected transactions, otherwise they just don't work. So with all of this, and with finance coming online, with banking clearly going online, the number of bank branches are going down. Most of us are doing our banking operations on our phones now. State Bank has innovated many, many new initiatives that will allow people to pay you through their phones, and we're very slow to adopt that. If you look at the retail industry, it's very hard right now to pay with my phone at a retail outlet. It shouldn't be, because the technology is in place today. So having open technological ecosystems that are clearly affordable is key, that are focused on allowing you to interconnect your payments, your logistics, your warehousing provider, your marketing engine to automate your SMSs, on the back of your payments data, what you're buying from your suppliers should also be happening online. All of this is possible, and the system must support it. And once these transactions start happening online, on your online platforms, what happens? The data set is something that any banker would die for, because it allows them to understand the nature of your business real time, how it's growing, and they'll make a bet on helping you with invoice factoring, with financing your consumers, with handing you loans so you can purchase more stock. These are concepts that are almost unbelievable in Pakistan. Banks don't do this. But in this new world, with this financial ecosystem interconnected, where people are able to pay you with their phones and their online accounts, and that money moves seamlessly, which means the cost of handling a customer goes down instead of having to deal with cash and interconnecting bank deposits and all of that, all the way into the sale, your loyalty programs interconnected, and your banking partner now giving you a financial instrument, a wallet, through which you can get credit scored and you can get loans for your transactions, and you can help your customers get loans for things they buy from you, and you can automate your entire chain. So this is what's happening right now. In order to leverage the fintech evolution and revolution that's happening, which is happening quickly, retailers must adopt platforms that are ecosystem focused, that they can cheaply, quickly interconnect with everybody else. And I think this is the most promising thing on the horizon right now for our retailers.
Thank you, Monis. So I'll probably move on to Hashim Zulfiqar. So Hashim, we have touched many aspects of digitalization and how digitalization can create possibilities, but at the end of the day, every business has to satisfy its customers. So it's customers' experience with your brand, with your online presence, with your brick and mortar presence, with your individuals, with your product itself. This is what the customer interacts with, and that is where the customer seeks satisfaction or does not seek satisfaction. So what is that technology can help retailers, or in what ways do you think in Pakistan technology can be leveraged to enhance the customer experience, and where are you see the current bottlenecks, and where are the challenges that are stopping the retailers to maximize the benefit from technology in enhancing the customer satisfaction or the customer's experience?
Thank you very much. And I'm happy you've asked that question of challenge, because I think that's probably a common denominator to your question on every panelist. So let me start backwards to answer the question. I've been trying to work with the retail industry in Pakistan for 17 years. And I think over the time, there are two major things that I've observed that I'd like to share. I think this is kind of crux of what I've learned over the year. Everybody has talked about the vision of what technology can do for you guys. And I think, generally speaking, I know a lot of people here, they are very clear on what are the possibilities of what technology can do. The two things that I think kind of major obstacles to making that happen. Number one, a realization that we are living in a world where there is an acute shortage of talent. It's a global world. If there was any space left in being global world, COVID has kind of killed that space. So we live in a place where I, as a person, have option to work for a company in North America, in Australia, or in Pakistan. So the talent is being pulled to the most lucrative opportunities. And that shortage, I think, by far is more in the technology space than in any other place, because this is probably by far the most virtual business you can face. And most of the initiatives struggle because we all collectively fail to put the required talent in a perseverance, with kind of enough perseverance to make it happen over time. So, you know, talent and patience. The second thing that I feel is, has seen a lot of growth and momentum is because Pakistan typically lags behind the bleeding edge. So platforms are kind of a common denominator of what enables innovation in a much more cost-effective manner than what is otherwise possible. So we work with, coincidentally, you know, as fortune would have it, we work with larger customers in North America, and we work with a lot of companies in Pakistan as well. And I feel, you know, we are so fortunate here because, you know, we are at an end of the technology where a lot of things have been productized before we have to use them. Whereas I think some of the companies in the West had to really reinvent, well, invent the wheel actually, not reinvent the wheel, before those things could be productized. So I think general awareness, you know, treat talent not as a commodity, but rather a very, very precious asset in the organization. And platforms are your way to reduce cost and innovate faster. So going back to the first part of your question, I think, you know, a lot of people here already understand, other speakers have alluded to it as well. Technology is enabling almost every facet of how, you know, your journey of interacting with the customer from pre-purchase all the way to after sale has affected. You know, it absolutely, I have seen people's business grow from negligible proportion of online to, you know, a very, very sizable chunk of business. So, you know, how your product is discovered by your buyer, you know, how they get feedback of your product versus, you know, getting it delivered from home, you know, evolution of options of how that product is finally, the orders are fulfilled in store versus fulfilled from store to your home. You know, all those options of how a customer discovers, transacts, has been enabled by technology. And by the same token, you know, I think Asif was mentioning about the digital twin concept, you know, how your app behaves when you're in store versus pre-purchase versus post-purchase, you know, your post-purchase journey of, you know, how, you know, you run your customer service, how your satisfaction service, all of those aspects are enabled by technology. This gives you an enormous amount of data about your customers, like Monis was mentioning, and, you know, technology is also enabling how you can smartly use that data to profile your customers, make your communication with them more relevant and personalized to their need, and that is happening at every stage of the customer's life cycle.
Thank you, Hashim. So I guess we have to stop now. So what I can make sense of the so far conversation is that digitalization and technology is giving us many ways, has the power to do many things, but at the end you have to see where is the competitive advantage of your business. How does your business work? What's the operating model of your business? And how can a part of the technology, whatever is available, can help you strengthen that source of competitive advantage. And that's how you should use technology for your business. Just mimicking everyone will create everyone close to average, will make everybody average. So that's not how you gain competitive advantage. You gain competitive advantage by some of the unique advantages that you have over your competitors. And those unique advantages may come from your technology, may reside somewhere else in your business model. And that's what you have to find out. And that's what you have to find out for using and identifying the right technology. And for that, you also need a right mindset and the skill in your organization to identify the areas that can be leveraged to strengthen your competitive advantage. So we'll continue this conversation almost all day today, and we stop our panel conversation on this now. Thanks very much for patient listening, and thank you very much all the panel members.